Hi, Assalamualaikum and good evening. So for today's video, I will be taking it outside. Bay, stop it. Okay, so for today, I will be talking about Bay, 1 meter, please. Okay, sorry about that. So for today, I will be talking about. Okay guys, so do you know what we'll be talking today based on that gimmick just now? So we will be talking about buffer capacity and buffer range and how it affects the effectiveness of buffer. So I will try to explain this using an analogy. So let's look at the analogy now. What we have here is a general equation for a buffer. We have HA dissociate into H plus and A minus. So as I've mentioned previously many times, in a buffer there is high concentration of HA, the weak acid, and high concentration of A minus. So to calculate the pH of the buffer, you will use the Henderson-Hasselbalch formula, where we will use these two concentrations. So what will happen? Okay, I'm using the pen and pencil for the analogy. So this is at equilibrium. The amount of pen, the amount of HA, the red color, H plus and A minus is already at equilibrium. So what will happen if I add acid into this buffer? So if I add acid into the buffer, what will happen is H plus is in excess. So if in excess, it will definitely affect the pH of the buffer. So how do the system want to counteract this? So because this is in excess, so the salt will react with the excess buffer H plus is now. The salt will react with the excess H plus, so it will produce more HA, while the concentration of A minus and H plus will be reduced. The excess H plus will be offset. You can assume it will be negligible, like there's nothing happen to the pH. Okay, so you will get this. Same goes if you put or you mix base inside. So if you mix base inside, what happened to the concentration of H plus? It will reduce because OH minus will neutralize, H plus will neutralize OH minus. So if this one reduce, what will happen? HA will dissociate more to produce back the H plus, the lost H plus, and also A minus. So it will reduce and it will produce back this. Okay, so we already get back the value here. So it is in equilibrium back. So what happened if it is over the capacity? So let's say I add 3 H plus over here. So what will happen? All 3 excess H plus will be neutralized by A minus, neutralized. So what happened here is A minus is already 0. There is no more blue paint or the A minus, the salt. So when I add H plus, will the buffer able to resist the change? No, this time it will not resist the change because A minus is already 0. There is no salt concentration to counteract the excess H plus. So what will happen to the buffer? The buffer will fail. It will unable to resist the pH change because the concentration of A minus is already 0. Okay, so what is actually capacity is the ability, the amount of how many additional or changes that can the buffer resist. So how to have a very good buffer? A very good buffer is when you have high concentration of both A minus and also the weak acid. If you have high concentration of A minus and also weak acid, it is a very good buffer because high concentration. So one of the factors affecting effectiveness of buffer is concentration. High concentration of salt and also weak acid will produce a very good buffer. Why? Because there is a lot of A minus or HA to counteract any changes happen in the middle here. Okay, that is one of the effectiveness of buffer. One of the factors that affect the effectiveness of buffer. So that is capacity. The higher the concentration, the better the capacity of the buffer will be. Okay, what is range? Range is the amount from which pH to which pH the buffer can be better, can act better. So usually it is plus minus 1. Okay, so that's all for this video. So if there's any question, you can submit your discussion in the forum. And now you can conclude that buffer capacity is depend on the concentration of the buffer component. Where if the concentration is high, it will be a very good buffer because the capacity is also high. The range is the limit where the buffer will be deemed as ineffective. Okay, just like the video just now, if your bed disturb you every time, you have your capacity, and after that you will reach the limit, the range where you will not be an effective bay anymore. That person will not be your effective bay anymore. Okay, that's all. Thank you.